Welcome, everybody. Okay, it's 4:30. If we would start. Tiffany, will you move that box again?
Sure will. Hold on 1 second. I'm coming.
Thank you. I would do it myself. I just don't want to mess with I just don't want to put my hands on your stuff. Okay, we welcome everybody. If Stephanie, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Hardy. Commissioner Huff.
Here.
Commissioner Monty.
I'm here.
Commissioner Ormond.
Here.
Commissioner Powell.
Where'd she go?
Commissioner Powell. She's
She's on mute. She's here, but
yeah.
Can see her, so she can be counted.
Commissioner Reddick
I'm here.
and Commissioner Scott.
Present.
Okay. It appears we have a quorum.
Yes.
According to the bylaws, the first things we do at the January meeting is elect new officers. Is that not correct, Mr. Norman?
That is correct, although it's not in the bylaws that you do it first thing. It is done in the January meeting.
Well,
So I just follow your agenda.
okay. Well, the next thing on the agenda is roll call. I mean, not roll call, public comments. Do we have any members of the public who are out there in Zoom land?
we did have a request for a public comment from Mr. Moody, but since we decided to do it through Zoom, he said that he will hold his comments until our next face-to-face meeting. So I have his contact information and I'll let him know when we decide to meet again in person.
Okay, very good. Would it be appropriate, Mr. Norman, for me to share with the board what he's asking?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Not at this point, not without him having asked it.
okay. All right, do we have any staff that has comments? Any staff here that have comments? Welcome back, Arlene. Okay, I
Thank
hear-
you. I'm sorry, I was on mute saying thank you. Thank you.
Arlene has been out and I'm glad she's back. All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. If everyone would take a moment to look at the minutes and see if that's what we wish to do.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Is there any further questions? Hearing none or any further comments, all in favor of approving the minutes as they've been, as they have been sent out, please so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, very good. Arlene, finance report. You're
Good
on mute.
evening.
Okay,
Yeah. Good evening. I will be covering the finance report ending November 30th. Reading from left to right, starting with Trent Court. Total operating revenue, $2,220,995. Craven Terrace, $2,821. CHI business activity, $27,852. New Bern Towers, $850,953. $850,953. Consolidated income, $3,102,621. Next page. Total operating expenses, starting with Trent Court, $1,068,185. Craven Terrace, a loss of $29. CHI Business Activity, $418,254. Newbern Towers, $882,660. Consolidated income, $2,369,070. Total revenue and operating expenses, $1,152,809. Craven Terrace, $2,850. CHI Business Activity, a loss of $390,402. Newbern Towers, a loss of $31,707. Consolidated income, $733,550. Total net income and loss, Trent Court, $1,290,184. Craven Terrace, $2,850. CHI Business Activity, a loss of $390,402. Newbern Towers, a loss of $31,777. Consolidated income, $870,925. And that
Very
concludes
good.
my report. If anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
I have a question. It's more of, it's not about the report. How are we doing with the collections of our tenants with the COVID and so forth? Do we still have them? I'm sure it's going to appear later on, but is it hurting us much?
Not at the time, because when I did these reports, we were still collecting a lot from those outside sources that were helping tenants. So I think a lot of that will be covered under the property manager's report.
Right. All right. I would entertain a motion that we accept the finance report as been presented.
I make a motion.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, it's been seconded. Is there any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the report as it's been presented, please so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose like sign. All right. Ms. Askew, Executive Director's Report.
Right, thank you. And I'd like to welcome Mayor Outlaw and Alderman Bingle to the meeting. They just recently joined us. Thank you both. First thing I would like to share is we received the grant award for the Ross coordinator position, which is a grant position that'll assist the Trent Court residents with educational goals, financial goals, and healthcare goals. And so we received $245,000 from HUD for that grant, and it's a 3-year grant. And I want to thank Pam Miner for her help in working on that grant, and also Commissioner Reddick. I appreciate you. You helped us out when we were putting in information to get together for this grant. So thank you both for all of your hard work to help us get that grant. The next thing I wanted to talk about was my executive director training. I'm working through the FADA conference and educational program to receive an executive director's certification from Rutgers University. I attended my first 2 classes last week, and they were full 8-hour days with tests at the end. So it's a great program. I got a chance to meet other up-and-coming executive directors and newly hired executive directors as well. So it's a great program, and I got a lot of information and made a lot of great contacts last week.
Did you pass your test?
I did, sir. I did. One of them I got 100 on. So I was excited about that. And then just two great things. I am now a board member of Swiss Bear, and I'm also a board member at large for the North Carolina Coalition to End Homelessness. And I'm proud to say that we are the first housing authority to participate in this coalition, and I am the first housing authority board member at large. So I'm excited about that opportunity for both of those opportunities. And also just to touch a little bit on our FEMA and Trentport projects. We're working really hard to get those closed out. There's a lot of things that we need to get done and to work through. And I appreciate Jamie Norbert. He's been working hard. I brought him onto the team, and we met today. We'll meet twice tomorrow, and then we'll meet again on Thursday. So thank you, Jamie, for
Very
your
well.
help and making sure that we get everything that we need to do to get that. Because there's some pieces that are very minute and deserve a lot of detail that we have to put in to getting that done. And so just please know that we're working hard to get that closed out. And then the final thing, just to share about the Choice Neighborhood Implementation Grant. I know that there was a meeting last week that I wasn't able to attend, and I apologize for not being there, but you know, I would be more than open and more than willing to work with the city, any other agency to put that grant into place. I know it takes a lot of hard work. In my previous experience, we put in months and months and months of effort of work for that. And you know, it's a very short time limit on that. The application is due February the 15th. And to have a first meeting in January is tough, but I'm willing to be a part of any team or, you know, work with anyone on that project. So I'm looking forward to hearing more information about that. I do hate that I missed that meeting last week. And that is all I have. If anyone has any questions. Oh, one more thing. Let me go back to Carolina Avenue. Carolina Avenue is they have 36 residents occupied there. That will be 40, over a little bit over 40 more units that they need to rent out. And last week when I got back on Friday, I had a meeting with management there to talk about the manager and the leasing strategies that they're putting in place there. And so we hope that that situation improves and works out for our residents so that we can get families moved into there pretty fast. So
I have a question about Carolina Avenue.
Mhm.
I do know that 2 of our residents were able to move to Carolina Avenue. And the rest were not able to move. How many units is Carolina Avenue holding for us for the displaced Trentport residents?
I think it was right at 24, but they're not holding those. Those are, if we have families that are available to go into those, they're gonna go. But if they don't, then they're gonna go ahead and rent those. But they just can't hold them and not rent them at all. But they have those spaces available for that preference.
So it's my understanding, so I'm trying to clear up my own head.
Mhm.
There was something about a 2-year deal, I guess, with that. And so if they're going to, just clear my head up, if they are going to go ahead and rent them, what's the, help me understand what the time parameter is, because I know that we don't want to have open units. So how long will they wait for these 20 some units? I know there's a 2-year deal, but if they don't come within 6 months, can they rent them all? And then what happens if somebody gets approved, there's no availability 8 months down the road?
So what's going to happen in that 2-year time frame? Anyone that meets that preference that's eligible for the property, they'll be able to rent there. If not, then they'll, give those spaces to the next people that are on the waiting list. Now, if somebody comes in and while they're taking applications, they're a Trentport resident, they're eligible, they meet that preference at the next available unit, then they will get it throughout that 2-year time frame. And once that 2 years is up, then that preference will no longer be in place.
Okay. Do we, or are we making any money in terms of off the lease of that property or those units?
We make money out of the deal, but as far as like anytime somebody leases, we're not going to get, a certain amount of money from it. But we did, make money through the deal. But as part of the leasing, they have to lease up to meet the tax credit requirements. And so once they do that, that property keeps their tax credit.
So we're pretty much out of the Carolina Avenue picture, I guess, until what, 15 years down the road?
Right, when we're able, at some point right now, we're gonna work to make sure that this agency is able to manage tax credit properties. And when we are at that point, then we'll be able to be the total management company of that property instead of Excel.
But this also gives us the opportunity to get the management experience through the HUD stuff. So where we don't have to go out and find HUD approved investors down the road if we wanted to build affordable housing, correct?
Right, that is our goal. And one of the things that I talked about on Friday in the meeting is having our staff receive training on site. So that we'll be able to manage tax credit property. So once the property is fully leased, then I'll have staff go out, do hands-on training, and then move towards becoming tax credit certified so that we can be able to manage tax credit properties in-house.
Do we have any idea about how long that process would take before we would be eligible to build properties under this management deal we got going on?
Yeah, I'm hoping, it is my goal that we'll be ready and have staff ready within the next 2 years.
Okay, and then after that, we'll be able to build the properties, like you said, without outside investors.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Orman, to add something to that, I believe in the legal documents that we have with a Mosaic, if we are able to, they will consider us to run it, I think, in 5 years. I'm not sure, I'd have to look it up, but it's out there. I mean, this was what we wanted to do, was to be able to do this ourselves. And so that's the long term.
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, I know that, we're all interested in making sure that more affordable housing comes to our area. And I know that, the majority of us, if not all of us, want the housing authority to be the sole entity in terms of purchasing, building, and having that property. But I just wanted to know what the time parameters was, so that if we did decide we wanted to buy some land, build some property or whatever, that we could do it on our own without having to go towards outside investors.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay.
That's our goal. I mean, I like Mosaic. They've been good to work with, but I'd prefer all the money stay in Craven County, if you catch
Now,
me.
the ultimate goal, I think, is the housing authority. We want to be the housing authority, and I think we should be able to do 100% from
Exactly.
finished ending. So, okay, thank you.
We want to be a management company to manage. We want to be able to manage property for other people as well. Like if somebody was building something and they need a management company, like they saw Excel, then we want people to be able to seek the housing authority to manage their property as well. So that is our ultimate goal.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
Tiffany,
Okay.
can you go back and talk a little bit more about the meeting that occurred, what transpired, what the process looks like for CNI and the implementation, and really who needs to get that ball rolling? Who's the lead? Who needs to lead that charge, so that we all have an understanding going forward. I think as well as everybody else knows, that the CNI plan was written in 2016. It's 2022. And I think in 2023, we don't want to be where we are right now. So can you just kind of outline that and let's have a conversation about that?
Sure. The implementation grants, all HUD grants have to be applied through the Housing Authority. The Housing Authority is the agency that submits the application to HUD. We do that in partnership with the city and other agencies throughout the area in Newburgh. So this is something that takes time and effort to plan, to write a grant. We need to have a grant writer to be able to do that for us. And what we did, I met with Jeff Ruggieri, and I also spoke with Teresa Lee from the commission, the redevelopment commission. And because of the time frame when we actually started the initial conversation, we only had 2 months to put an application together. An application such as that takes longer than 2 months. And so what we concurred on was to get together starting late January, early February, depending on my time frame when I got back, meeting and discussing what we can do to be able to apply for that grant the next time it opens up. And so from that point, initially, this is something that, you know, the agency should have been discussing, you know, last year in January, not December or not this January, to apply for a grant that end date is February the 15th, because that's not enough time to do an excellent grant and to win it. And so with that being said, when it was brought to my attention, we said that we would get together and start working as a team on it now so that we could be ready for the next one.
So this is the same grant, though, that we were talking about last meeting that we were going to miss out on this year, that we were going to shoot for the 2023 grant, correct?
Correct.
But now we're saying that I guess there's some entities that have come involved and you all are going to try to take a shot at it this year.
At the agency, we don't have a grant writer to do it. Now, if the city has a grant writer and they're ready, then I am more than willing and excited about working with them on it now. And I see Alderman Bingo has turned her camera on, so maybe she has some information about a grant writer and some meetings that she'd like to share with you.
Yeah, just for the rest of the board, we have been working for the past year, and I'm going to apologize in advance that I don't know if it's on behalf of our staff or whatever, not giving this information to Tiffany or whatever, but we did hire consultants 9 or so months ago to position us before HUD. I've actually had phone conversations with the Assistant Secretary of HUD. The consultants met with Secretary Fudge at one time. And basically what they did was they shopped the the planning grant that was written to get an understanding of how strong it was, where were we at as a community, did they think we had a shot? And they were told time and time again, as I heard from the Assistant Secretary, that was one of the best plans they had ever seen. It was well written, well put together, and encouraged us to make application. The issue back, 9 months ago was that because of a new administration, the funding wasn't there. They had not approved funding. They didn't know what the funding amount, had not approved the funding, and didn't know when the portal would be open to apply. So we learned on November 17th that the portal had opened and we were ready to go. As a board of aldermen, we instructed staff to jump on it and go for it, not realizing that none of the conversations were taking place. So when we found out that and I'm usually here for every meeting. I wasn't here in December. My sister flew into Raleigh for Christmas and I had to go and pick her up. So I apologize. At that point, I would have made all this known. So we lost almost another month because I just found out that you all had voted not to move forward on this or discussed not moving forward on January 7th. So a lot of miscommunication went on, in not knowing this. Since the meeting on Monday, Foster and I have spoken to Rebecca Rothenberg, who is with Atria Planning. She has successfully written implementation grants and been awarded for the city of Shreveport, Little Rock, and Newport News. She has reviewed our implementation grant, and she's going to be sending us a list of things tomorrow with which we can see if it's possible to put in an application. We understand the length of time, how much it takes, but we firmly believe as a city, if we don't try, we feel it's important that we should put what we have out there if we can, based on the feedback we have been getting from HUD. And we realize that we can't do it without a partnership with the Housing Authority. We did verify that the city can take the lead. It does not have to be the Housing Authority. They could be a co-applicant because we were the co-applicant with the Housing Authority on the planning grant. We'd also like to see the Redevelopment Commission come in because it's going to take all of us together working to move this forward. But we still would like to try. We've paid our consultants. We're willing to pay the grant consultant to move forward. We don't have an issue with that. We're not asking the housing authority for funding. We're asking for just your support and assistance if we decide that we can move this forward. We'll know better in a couple of days, but we really feel as a board that we really want to try to move this forward. That's how important this is for this community.
Well, is there a better open door communication now since Director Askew knew nothing about any of this, nor do I think
And
anybody
neither
else
did
did.
I didn't realize they
Yeah.
weren't communicating.
So is there now a sure line of communication where Ms. Askew is going to be on the lead, of everything that's going on since
Yes,
the
it's my
partnership is there?
understanding that Foster reached out to her, maybe today it was, because you were gone last week. And I believe, do you have a meeting on Friday, Tiffany? Is that correct?
We do, and I asked, and I asked his assistant, Allison, what is the meeting in reference to? And I still didn't get a clear answer. So I still really don't. She said it was just to open up the lines of communication. She didn't
Correct.
say the line of communication about, if it's about C&I, then, I'd like to know specifically what it's about, but it wasn't really clear. So if that's what's it about, then that's great. I'm open to it.
Well, but it'll be all total a line of communication. How do we do better? So with all things we're working together on that you understand. So you do need those lines of communication, and that's what we want to open. But we will talk about C&I as well. We'll have more information. Like I said, I talked to Ms. Rothenberg today, and she's going to have information, what she thinks we can do.
Can you
Or
share
cannot
that
do.
with me? Can you share that with me? Can you share?
Yes,
or
as soon as, oh,
can you share that with
absolutely,
me?
absolutely. This is not, it's not in any one person's court. It's got to be all of us. And again, I'm just amazed and baffled why it took so long, because on November 17th, when that portal opened, we basically pushed the button and said, go, tell us what you need, go. And I don't understand how we got to this point that it took 2 months before we knew that nothing was going. That's what I don't understand, but.
All right, well,
Sound like to me the city jumped in and decided they wanted to go after a C&I program, and then they went forward with it, and nobody called the housing authority to let us know that that's what was going to happen.
That is not true, Chris, because we were just positioning, and you didn't even have a director when we were positioning.
Oh, I don't mean
So-
this in a negative way. I'm
No,
saying
I understand
that's what I
that,
mean,
but-
communications.
Well,
Right.
yeah, and the communication was from our development services. I mean, they were at your meeting on December 21st. I saw them in the video. I watched it. And I knew nothing of this until January 7th.
Mhm.
So again, not very unsure about who's talking to what. I apologize. The end result at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, is that we need to provide more for our citizens in our minority communities and in housing, all of this. And this money will be transformative. And we understand it. I mean, part of the puzzle is bringing Tiffany on. She's got the background in it. She understands it. She's worked with it before. We were missing that piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to think I'm being negative about it. What I was trying to say is that, the lines of communication we should have learned, and everybody should be involved so that everybody has their expertise that can put it into the pot in a short time parameter, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't mean anything negative by it, and I'm not trying to point a finger. I'm just saying it is on Friday, are we going to be able to open that door in that short amount of time frame? And is Miss Tiffany going to be able to give it the information she needs so that when she comes in that meeting on Friday, that she's able to bring all the expertise and whatever resources she has available so that we can really push this ball going instead of setting up another meeting on Monday for her to gather her information. That's all I was saying.
And I
Sounds like we're
agree
all on the
with
same
you.
page there. I mean,
Yes.
there just needs to be a clear outline of what is necessary and what is needed, so that Friday is not a kick the can down the
Right.
street exercise, but rather we can actually get the ball rolling and actually
Right.
get some tread. Because as I said, the citizens, this plan has been in existence and on a shelf since 2016.
Correct.
So, here we are 6 years later. Let's make some stuff happen. So if Foster can be instructed to actually give Tiffany some agenda items, some information that she can bring, some real meat, so that this meeting is actually a productive one, I think that that's a step in the right direction. And
So
that's
Tiffany,
the
are you
only
available before Friday? Because we're supposed to get this information tomorrow. It could be that we can meet tomorrow afternoon or Thursday, just not sure what.
I mean, I can meet, as long as it's not after 10 o'clock at night. I can
Right,
meet
no.
anytime. Like, I am available anytime. My schedule is pretty full, but I mean, if it's after 5 o'clock, that's fine. And then just to share with everyone, when I'm asked for a meeting, I always ask, what is it in reference to, just so that I can be prepared when I get there. And thank you so much for that, Commissioner Orman, because that was my reason for asking, what is the meeting in reference to? Because I like to be prepared. I like to know. I like to research. I like to know what I'm saying and what I need to say and what I need to be prepared to do. And so that's the only reason why I asked.
And
for
that's, I respect that. I have no issue with that whatsoever. I just want to move it along. Whatever we need to do, a spirit of cooperation between everybody, because at the end of the day, we're here to serve the citizens.
right.
You guys, have the name, but I have to play the game, and that when citizens complain, they call me because they say, well, isn't it the City of New Bern Housing Authority? So I need to work with you. That's why I attend these meetings. It's important to me to know what's going on, and we just need to communicate with one
And
another.
I truly appreciate that. And again, like I said, I'm open if it's, as long as it's not after 10, because I get kind of tired then,
No,
I can meet with you.
Well, you stay up a whole lot later than I do. So.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Alderman Beagle. Thank you, Commissioner Orman and Commissioner Hope for your support. I mean, I appreciate that.
Okay, very good. Anything more on CNI? Okay, we go to New Bern Towers report. Latasha, where are you?
Here I am. Good afternoon.
Okay,
Okay, the total of units is 106. Units occupied 96, vacancies 8, occupied rate 72%. One move in. Can you hear me?
It's 92. You say 92%?
Yes, 92%. And then move-ins 1, move out 0. I have 5 2-bedrooms. I mean, five units, a total of 5 units of 2 bedrooms, and a total of 3 1-bedroom vacancies. And I have 3 people waiting for units as well. Okay. We have the tenant account receivable charge $26,832.19. Received $25,987.38. Unpaid $8,044.81 per 97%. Pending terminations, non-paid 8. Criminal activity 0. Other violations 0. Work orders, outstanding requests 2. Requests received 27. Completed 25. Pending repairs 0. Pending parts 2. The 2 is fall keys. I don't know if y'all will know about that. So police reports 19. Total fire calls 0.
I do
Very
have a
good.
question since we're on the towers, and then I'll have no more questions after this question for the rest of the meeting. I went back and read some of the minutes, and I understand it may be something trivial or small, but 2 meetings ago, we talked about the lighting situation in the back of the towers. I've been talking about this for a long time, and went back and read in the minutes where, we were told that it was going to be at the end of last year, very beginning of this year. So I just want an update. Are we going to get some lights back there for the safety reasons along the water? Where are we with that?
If I'm not mistaken, I got an email from Alderman Bingle with that was being addressed, correct, Alderman Bingle?
That is correct. I mean, I know that it took a while to work it out. There was some issue back there, but they are now they're going to put lighting on the walkway. Anything you want to do on your building, you'd have to address yourself.
Yeah, I'm talking about the walkway, back there in the very back
Yes.
where, okay, so that is being taken care of?
Yes, yes. And I almost thought that we sent you an email. I know that after the last time we talked about it, I don't know if it's just they haven't gotten, and let me look at that, haven't gotten, I don't know, lighting or whatever it is in, but I know it's being addressed.
Yeah, because
I've been assured it's being addressed.
Okay, I was just making sure. Trying to get it done, I guess.
Also, just to give you an update on the washer and dryer, we will be ordering 2 washers and 2 dryers. This week, we're gonna submit the order request for that. And so depending on delivery time, we'll just be waiting on delivery and setup as far as setting them up so that we can use the coins with them. So the 2 washers and dryers are being approved this week and ordered.
What are the total, what's the total number of washer and dryers that we have there at the towers?
We have 4 washers and we have 3 dryers.
So will this be in addition to those, or are we just replacing worn out ones?
Replacing.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any more questions concerning the towers?
And then
All
we're
right.
also gonna upgrade the laundry room, so we may have to shut it down a little bit because we're gonna paint the laundry room and all of that before the installation. So
Okay. All right, Trent Court, Pam. You're on mute.
Pam, you on mute?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be reporting on December 2021. We have a total units of 110. Units occupied is 93. We have 17 vacancies and we have an occupancy rate of 85%. We had 3 move-ins, 5 move-outs, but out of the 5 move-outs, 4 of those went to Carolina Avenue. So that was with the move-out. So we will continue on accepting the pre-applications. We'll continue on accepting the pre-applications and unit terms for future rentals. For the tenants' accounts receivable charge, $24,220.30. Received was $30,328.41. We had unpaid at amount of $6,108.11, and our tar rate is 125. Well, 125%. Pending termination is non-payment, 34. Criminal activity was 0. Other violations was 0. Work orders, outstanding requests is 6. Requests received was 46. Completed was 40. Pending repair is 6. We had 14 police calls and reports and 0 fire reports. Thank you.
Pam, can you talk about the pending terminations? What does that 34 number mean?
Non-payment of rent.
So those are individuals that didn't pay for 1 month, individuals who haven't paid for a couple months and now they're about to be kicked out. How does that work?
Okay, so they will receive a 30-day late notice, which give them 30 more days to pay the balance. And then after that, since the moratorium has ended in October, we are now able to take them to court. But being that I have decided to start taking people to court, residents to court in next month. Well, not February, March, to try to give them another little bit more time to, because we about housing, not making people homeless.
Of course.
So
Along with more time, are we also giving them referrals and resources?
yes,
Okay.
And then HUD also allows us to do repayment agreements. So we can set them up on a payment agreement. They just have to be willing to, accept the payment agreement and make the needed payments. So we can do that as well. And so we'll offer them the chance to do a repayment agreement of the rent that's behind.
So that means if they pay their current rent, then we'll break up what they owe in the past in small increments, and then they have to additionally pay that each month.
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah.
They just have to do it, Commissioner Orman, if you will, sign the agreement and do it. So. But yeah, we're
Well,
gotta give them that option.
whatever we have to do to keep people with roofs over their heads under the law, I know, but whatever we have to do to keep people in homes. Yes.
I agree.
If there's anything I can do to help or be supportive, let me know.
thank you.
Sure.
Okay, we're at the end of our agenda. I guess we call the election now of officers. Mr. Norman, will you handle that detail
Yes.
for us?
Now would be the appropriate time to do that. Your bylaws provide for officers to be elected in the January meeting if at all possible. You don't have to do it in January, but that's what the bylaws prefer. And the officers are a chairperson, a vice chairperson, and a treasurer. You also have a secretary, but under the general statutes and HUD regulations, the secretary is automatically your executive director. So, Mr. Chairman, I will open the floor for any nominations for the chairperson position.
I nominate Bishop Scott for the chair position.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other nominations?
I second that nomination.
Thank you. Second's not required with such a small group, but that's helpful. Hearing no other nominations, I'll close the floor for nominations for chairperson. Are there any nominations for vice chairperson? Or volunteers?
Mr. Huff, raise your hand, please. I nominate Mr. Huff.
All right. Any other nominations for vice chair? Hearing none, I'll close the nomination period. Are there any nominations for treasurer?
I'm
Jamie,
gonna
who-
nominate Commissioner Reddick for treasurer.
Who's our
Commissioner-
current treasurer?
Treasurer, yes.
Who's our current treasurer?
Bishop Scott.
Mr. Norman, did you hear my
Who was, what was that, Commissioner Orman? Who was that?
Commissioner Reddick?
Ready.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Raddick has been nominated for treasurer. Any other nominations for treasurer? Here not, I'll close the floor for nominations for treasurer. You have only one nominee for each office. So we could elect all three with one motion to approve all three of those.
I make a motion that we approve all of the nominations for office since there is only one per office.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You can now turn the gavel over if you so desire, or you can preside till the end of the meeting, whatever you want.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Uh,
You weren't going to ask.
Well,
anymore.
just, you're right. Miss Askew, can I have 5 minutes of your time after the meeting?
Sure.
Thank you.
I will call you. I'll call you.
Thank you. Yeah, just call me on the cell. I have a thing that you could probably just deal with instead of the board.
Yeah, comment.
That's it.
Can I, am I on?
Yeah.
You
Yes,
are.
Yeah, this is understanding nomination and offices and things, and all that's great. And not trying to pull from it. So it's effective immediate with all the moving pieces we got going on. So I guess I'll ride, Mr. Monte be shotgun at my hip pocket for a season, because there's a lot of moving pieces that when I saw this about the offices, I was like, man, it's like, I know it's mandated, but with all the moving pieces, some consistency need to kind of stay in place, but I'm good with it, as long as he's there to help in this transitioning, because there's a lot of serious moving pieces going on, but I kind of saw it coming. But that being said, so Mr. Monte, I'll be pulling on you because there's a lot of things that are happening that you got some knowledge on.
And I appreciate that, and I appreciate all three of you stepping up. Because as I've said, you know, I'm beginning to be a fish in the refrigerator. I've been on this board long enough and I'm beginning to smell. And my year is up in 22, and I do not wish to stay on this board. I mean, I'll be close to 76 years old. You don't need another old white guy on this board. So I've enjoyed it, and I will help you any way I can, Bishop Scott.
Thank you much.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion we adjourn.
I think Arlene's waving at us.
What's
No.
up, Harley?
I just want to remind Stephanie that if she could send me a memo so that I can get it to the bank, because I will have to do signature cards.
Yep, I'll do it tonight and send it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
That's
Do
so
we
you
need to
guys
make a
can
motion
sign
to change?
checks.
Do we need to make a motion though to get them to sign the checks now since we've changed them?
No, you do not, because you have just elected them as officers, and that comes with their duties as an officer.
Okay, I make a motion we adjourn.
We're adjourned.
All right.
All right, thank you all.
Stay safe.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
Thank you all.
Have a good
Hey,
evening.
Tiffany, real quick, I'm gonna call you just about board orientation that we talked about. I'd love access to those modules. But like I said, I'll call you.
All right, so listen, I'm gonna call Commissioner Orman first, and then I'll call you afterwards.
You get what? Why don't you just call me tomorrow? I'll give you an early night. How's that?
All right, that sounds good then. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.